Hello, welcome to Mart's Garage. I've had a few days off because the weather's been very cold, and I was in a bit of a quandary what to do with these motors. I was taking parts off this one to use on that one. Then I found what appears to be the smoking gun, which are the marks on the piston there, and the corresponding marks on the head. I'm kind of tempted to fix this motor, but the bottom line is that it has a really poor set of conrods. They're all different lengths, so in other words this motor will never run right. So as I've had a couple of days off and I've been thinking about it, I've kind of come to the conclusion that I'm going to put this motor to one side and I will address it in the future if and when I can gather together some better parts for it. As it is, the basic unit is a good running unit. The valves are all good, the bores are all good, the pistons are all good, everything's good. The bottom end lets it down. I'm going to oil it up, grease it up, cover it up, take anything off it that looks like it will be useful for, you know, the next motors, and I will put it on one side. The parts I've took from this motor, I'm going to use them on that motor, well, some of them. So let's see how that goes. So I'll get this one out of the way and then start working on that one. That one there is the French Flatty, the one that came from Spalding. It's the one with the damaged valve bowl where I went through to the water jacket. So my thoughts are, get that running, put it in the truck, drive it in the truck, and then possibly at some point, sometime in the future, consider that for a further rebuild or an overbore if it proves to be okay. It might never get beyond the let's just make a plodder out of it, never get beyond that sort of level of performance. But even if it performed at that level of performance reliably, that would be a win in my book. There are quite a few things to do to that to make it suitable for use in a normal civilian vehicle rather than a military vehicle. So that'll be interesting in itself. I will continue with that build as I intended to and mothball this. Okay, I've gone round I've given you the same information 3 times now, but that's what I'm going to do. Okay, cheers then. I will bring you back when I've moved along a bit. Cheers then, bye. I've put this engine to one side now. I oiled all the bores, oiled the insides of the heads, put the heads on with just one bolt. All the other head nuts are in that butter tub. I'll put some rubber gloves down the inlet ports, and I'll shove some more down there if I find some more. I've got to take a couple of fittings off, but yeah, okay. So kind of I put it on this trolley. It's on a French sump, which makes a good kind of holding sump, you know, a good engine holding thing, because it's flat bottom there, and it's screwed to a piece of wood on this little trolley, so that's good. I've just used the tappy tap tap method with a hammer and made this gasket. I didn't use a knife at all, just used this little hammer. So I've done that. I've put a smear of grease on that face there. This is worn from previous use, but it's the only one I've got. It's not the best one I've got, it's the only one I've got. So that's going to go on there. And I've fitted the oil pump. And this is the one that was on that old 59 Flatty. It's a deeper gear pump with the built-in valve. And I've reused the French stud and nut but instead of putting a split pin through, I've put safety wire on it. It's actually MIG wire. I need to buy some safety wire. This is UNC thread at that end and a M8 at that end with an oversized nut with castellations. Peculiar. No, it ain't down. That's it. That's down. That's better. Nice and flush there, nice and flush there. I've got that thing in place there, that partial seal diameter thing. I've had this in place for a few days, kind of conditioning the seal. That's what you want, a nice solid clunk down. No, I'll leave it off. Yeah, I'll leave it off. So, okay, you don't need to see me faffing around with everything, but I thought I'd just show you that going on because I handmade the gasket for that. And it's gone. I've left that one loose because that one needs a little pointer on it. That one needs a little pointer on it for the top dead centre pointer. 65 to 70 these are going to be. I've got the torque wrench set at 70. That's why it's easier to do this before you put the oil pan on, because rather torque them up before you put the oil pan on. You have to put this on before you put the oil pan on, but it's easier to torque them up because you can put a bar in the lightning in the balancing hole. Get yourself comfortable. There. 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 Double check. Click. 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 Okay. Right, I need to safety wire those, put the bearing in and put the clutch on, but I'll do those after I put the oil pan on. Because I'm not using an 11-inch clutch. If you're using an 11-inch clutch, you have to put it on before you put the oil pan on. It would have been an idea to put the gaskets in place. Righto, I'll bring you back when I've moved along a bit. Hello, right, I've progressed the job a little bit. Fitted a gasket there. I use studs to hold the gasket in position, and I've kind of trimmed it around the seal there. Kind of sort of following some advice that I've read lately. Trimmed it around the seal. On this side, it's one of the old-fashioned, the older model gaskets with that doesn't go around there. You know, because I've got that cut out. So I thought I'd try one of those, seeing as I've got some spare ones. And I fitted the seal at the back. The only problem is there's a couple of things that you need to do. One of them is that you have to clearance the oil pan around here. You have to knock it a bit with a ball peen hammer, and you also have to weld up the vent there, which I hadn't forgotten about, but I was kind of pressing on with fitting the pan and then suddenly realised that I hadn't done it. So I've made a little piece to go in there, and I'm going to weld that in. And I was going to gas weld it, but I think I might MIG it. Oh, I don't know, I'm not sure. But basically I need to go and do something now, so I can't do it now. So I've kind of missed my opportunity. But I'll also fit a new seal there as well. So next time I come out, I'll weld that in, fit a new seal there, and hammer that a bit there to clearance it a bit. I think it's more this side here where it tapers in a little bit. Not sure, I'll have to go and have a look. I might have to offer it on and off a couple of times, which is awkward, isn't it? I'm going to try and gas weld this. I've put it's on a magnet, and there's a washer to kind of hold it down a little bit. The thing is, it's sitting a little bit, it's still going in a little bit cocked, but I think that'll be okay. There's a lot of oil on it, isn't there, so it's going to smoke. There we go. Hopefully that's alright. Oh yeah, it looks okay. Looks good actually. Looks good. Right then, let's warm up that bit there and hit it with a hammer. Ow! 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 Put my hand where the hot part is. Okay, let's see if that fits. Okay. Oh, that's not good. I've melted some solder out of there. This job's going from bad to worse. I've burnt myself. I didn't know there was solder in there. I'll probably put a couple of tack welds on there with the MIG, just to make sure that piece, because it looks like I've melted some solder there. I've melted some solder. But what I think I'll do, I'll offer this up to see if it fits. These are all my oil seals. Look, I put them in a jar of oil. I think that is welded. You can see spot welds there. So I don't know what the solder was for. Might not even be a Ford thing actually. Let's see if it fits and snugs down nicely without standing off. I'll leave the seal out so it can go down. If it snugs down nice on the gasket, I'll put the seal in. Now that looks like it's standing up to me. Well, that sounds like it's down. That sounds like it's gone down now. Okay. Let's take it off and see if there's any marks. But I think it's going to stand up at the back because of the, you know, the seal, isn't it? But that's down nice there. So let's take it off again. Right, let's have a look in there. There's oh, okay. Ah, okay, yeah, okay, I got it. Right. I don't know if the camera can see it. Can you see there's a mark there? And there's possibly a mark there. So I think there's that mark there off one of the nuts. This side appears to be okay, but there's a little bit of a foul there. But it did go. I think it kind of held up on. It held up on that edge of that cap there. And that part of it actually isn't needed. It kind of got caught on that cap there. If I was doing this, if I hadn't already bolted that down, I'd be tempted to just trim that. Might be tempted to do it even now. Yeah. And so it was there, and possibly just on that corner there, but not bad really, I suppose. I don't use my oxyacetylene often enough. It's a nice old tool and it's a nice old skill to try and keep up, you know. I was aware that where I was hammering there was quite close to that bolt hole. See if it'll go on fire. The gasket only comes round this piece here, round that side there. Should be plenty of clearance there now. That's the modification to the pan there. That's great. See, it just fitted straight down. It just fitted straight down, didn't it? You could see the difference there between how it was and how it was then. I think not having the oil seal in saves any confusion. I think having these studs here helps as well. I just selected some studs at random and put those there. So I will pardon me. So I'll fit the oil seal now and bolt it all up. I think that's looking good. Definitely fits nice there, doesn't it now? I think if I was doing it again, I would trim the edge of the main cap, that little lump on the end of it. I've got another French motor and I think I will do that on that French motor. Yeah, it's good, it's good. Okay, righto, leave it with me then and I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Cheers then, see you in a bit, bye. Hello. I was just putting the bolts in the oil pan and I've got half of them here. I was just looking for the other half and I noticed this. Now, I don't know if this is off this engine or the other engine. So what I think I'll do, I will check the rods on the other engine, see if there's a bearing missing, because I can get at them. But I think I may have put it together and not noticed I'm missing a bearing cap. Luckily I haven't bolted the oil pan down yet, so I need to have a look down and see you know what's going on. Okay, that's either lucky or unlucky, whichever way you look at it. Well, it's lucky, isn't it, that I haven't actually bolted this on yet. So let's I'll go and investigate, just showing you the sort of things that can happen. Just went out to the shed and the first one that I laid my hand on at the other engine got a bearing shell missing, so I'm assuming it's out of this engine. Having said that though, for the sake of taking the pan back off and just giving everyone an inspection, you know, seeing if there's free play, I'm going to do that just as a safety precaution. just turn it over and cover it up, and actually I'm going to leave it up that way because that's better protected, isn't it, like that? Okay, righto, that'll do for today's session. Then tonight's session, can't really see it, but I burnt my fingers, you know, when I was welding. Oh well, hey ho, worst things happen at sea. Right, thanks a lot then, catch you next time, bye. Hello. I'm working on the French Flatty. That's a French manifold on there, but I'm not going to use that because it needs quite a lot of modifying to use. This is the manifold off the old 59 Flatty, and I believe it's a British manifold. Now I'm going to do some drilling and tapping on here, and what my idea is to drill and tap there and put a PCV valve on it. And this area here, you only really get this on the British manifolds. On the American ones it's kind of covered over, and you've got the exhaust thing here, but it isn't here on the British ones. The exhaust thing is kind of up the sides here. Just here is where the two runners are divided along there. So I'm hoping that I'm going to drill through there, drill straight through the wall, and then just create a little area where I'm going to tap into both sides at once with a PCV valve. This is the PCV valve, and I'm thinking that will screw in there, and I don't know what I'm going to do at this end. I might just leave it open because it will be in the right area. I don't know, it's all experimental. I've done one of these before as an experiment. I've never run it on a vehicle though, but I'll show you the one I did before. This was just a tryout, and you can see I never cleaned it up to actually use it, but I tried the idea there, and what I could see was that the divider isn't quite in the middle. So I've taken that dimension from this depression out to there, and to kind of give me an idea, and I've drawn a line on that one over there where that divider is, hopefully. Now what I didn't like about this idea was that it's directly under there, look down at the bottom of the runners. So it occurred to me that if you are, you know, you got a situation where you've poured some petrol down the carb, or the carb's flooding, it could flood into that PCV valve. As I've been speaking, something else has just occurred to me. Can you see that there's a big boss here, look? I reckon that is set up so you could drill and tap that and tap into both sides and put a PCV valve there. I think you would have a PCV valve there, a bit of pipe work, and then you could have it sucking out of there. Now this manifold is a little bit different than that manifold, this manifold over here, because under here it hasn't got that single, under there, which is the top surface, it hasn't got that single boss. It's got twin bosses. Okay, I didn't know that until I've just looked then, so I might change my mind about this, but the bottom line is that this is an idea to put a simple PCV on this flathead, because, getting a bit wordy isn't it this, because on this flathead I've had to seal off that this road draft tube won't work, so it needs a PCV, I think. So that's my idea. I'm going to give it a go. If it doesn't work, I can just put a brass plug in it and I'll be no worse off. You don't tend to use oil on cast iron. I've reached the end of the quill. I've reached the end of the quill. I think that's gone. Can you see what I'm doing? I think that has gone both sides. Yeah, which is good, isn't it? Yeah, I think I've nailed it. Yeah, fingers crossed. Okay, I need to go and look up the tapping drill size. I was just thinking that I might make the hole deeper, that core diameter. I've got a better chance of drilling up the wall while I'm drilling through this part here. Let's stop that then. My idea is that I'll put a little stub pipe in that thing, and then so that the pickup point is further up the wall instead of being on the bottom. That's what I'm worried about, is petrol getting into it. Okay, so this is the tapping size. Okay, that'll do. Okay, this tap hasn't got a thingy bob anyway, but I can't, if I was in the milling machine, which I'm not, I could you know, wind the table up. This is going to be awkward because yeah, I might not be able to do this. Yeah, that's awkward, isn't it? Look. Okay, I think I'll set up elsewhere to do the tapping. Oh, it needs to go in quite a long way yet. Okay. But that's the idea, look. That'll go in there. Oh yeah, this valve is specifically designed to suck towards the threaded end, if you understand what I'm trying to say. Call it good at that sort of thing. Okay. Screwing in. So what I think I'll do now, I'll just get a little bit of 5/16 pipe and just extend this up a little bit. I'll measure the depth. What I'll do, I'll measure the depth. I'll measure how far that goes in. I'll put a bit of 5/16 pipe up there, and then put it up so it's about a little bit short of the end of the drilling, so there's just a little thing halfway up, you know, near the top. Okay. Right, the depth of that hole is 23 millimeters. Quite a long way, isn't it? 23 mil. Where's my pipe? So let's say we want it to screw into So let's say we want it to screw into about, let's say about where my thumb is. I don't think it quite goes that far, so that's 22. So then we want it clear by about that much. So I'm going to cut it off around about there. About there. Okay. So that's the little stub. That's in case fuel goes down there, so it won't just run straight into this. Tight. Righto, that's the finished job. Who knows if it'll work? But it's certainly a lot tidier looking than some that I've seen. Like I tried to say earlier on, not suitable for every manifold, but this particular manifold is suitable for that. But it's just an idea that I wanted to try. So I'm going to clear this gasket residue off here and then fit this manifold to the engine. Oh, I'm going to have to make a hole in the manifold, in the gasket, aren't I, for that to go through? So that's another little job. Okay, so that's just a neat little job there. Who knows? Everything I do is experimental. I'll report back on how it goes. Thanks a lot then. Cheers. Bye. There's the gasket. There's the valve thing there. And I found a good way of making a hole in it. And that was, I just went to the press, put it on a flat piece of metal and put a socket on it. And just pressed the socket into it and it popped through. If only I'd have got it in the right place. But anyway, hey ho. I had to have a second stab at it. But that's gonna work. So that's the installation there. Hello. It's not very long later. And I thought I'd just show you that, one, I have remembered to fit the shields. And two, I thought I'd show you this little thing that I've made. It was very quick, very rough, just cut out with tin snips. A sheet metal piece that goes around there like that, just so that the inlet to the thing is, you know, there's something in front of it. It's about 10mm clear of it, 3/8 of an inch clear of it. Do I need to do anything there? No, all that can go in after, can't it? Yeah, all that can go in after. I'm going to use the compressed air to blow out the manifold, because it might have bits of, you know, cast iron dust in it, and I'm going to fit the manifold, at least put it in place. But what I'll also do is go through one by one and check there's nothing down any of the ports. That's very important. I've got a bit of previous in that area. I had a lovely smooth German flathead in my 40 coupe. I think there must have been a washer or something down one of the holes, because after I'd run it a little while it suddenly started running bad and one of the pistons was broken. There's all these imprints on the top of the piston. Okay, next we'll be finding a pair of heads I can use. Okay, right, good little session there. I'll bolt that on then, and obviously when it's bolted on, there'll be nothing at all to show, will there? It's all hidden away, secret. Okay, righto. I thought I'd show you those little things though before the manifold goes on. Cheers then, bye. Hello again. Put the inlet manifold on. I haven't fitted it. I just put 2 bolts in just to keep it in place. Because what I just realised is that it's probably easier to fit the motor into the truck without the inlet manifold. I can just use that angle iron bracket inside to get the lift that I want. So I'm going to so I'm just going to leave it like that for now. Okay, righto. Thanks very much. I'll catch you on the next one then. Bye. Hello. I'm working on the French Flatty, and I'm just about getting ready to put the heads on. Well, one of the heads. I've prepared one of the heads. Hang on, let me have a look. Here it is. Here it is. Now this is one of the ones that came off that 59A that I stripped down recently. I still need to just give this a little rub over on this face, but it's not a bad looking head. Looks alright. Hasn't been skimmed. I've just put some grease on the face there, but I think there might be too much, so I'm going to try and wipe some of it off. But the other thing that I've done is I've put I've drilled and tapped and put a 1/8 NPT plug in that hole. Now what I'm a little bit worried about, this is the gasket that I'm going to use. I've got a couple of these, so I'm going to use one of these. This one exposes that to the water, and it doesn't overlap it very much at this point here, but I'm going to kind of cross my fingers and hope that it's okay. See there, look. Well, the gasket was a bit out of position there, so if I cheat the gasket this way as much as I can on the bolts, that might help. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put some sealant in there. That's what I think I'm going to do anyway. Yeah, I'm going to wipe it off. I've got too much grease on there. I'm going to wipe it all off a bit, clean this, and put some Hylamar in it. I imagine I could put some epoxy in it, but I think I'll just try that. If I have to take the head off and do it again, I'll just do it again. I've never done this before. I don't know if you're supposed to sort of plug it but leave the plug sticking out and then file the plug flush. That might be an idea, mightn't it? Yeah, I think I might have a plug that would actually stick out. Maybe I could try that. That might be a better idea. Yeah, let me have a think about it and let me work on it, and I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Just showing that I have cleaned up a set of bolts. Because this is a 59AB head, two of the bolts on each side need to have the threads moved up a bit, because they go into the two positions that are shorter than the long ones. But here's a full set of bolts, so they're ready to go. Oh, and I have shortened one. This one's had the threads moved up a bit, but I think I need to cut the end off. So what I was going to do, I was going to fit the head, put this bolt in, see how much it sticks up by, and then cut some off. So there's a couple of little jobs to do, all little jobs that are based around the fact that this is a French motor rather than a American, and I'm using the French head bolts as well. Okay, just out of interest, this is a long brass nut that's used on the centre cylinder head, not on the French motors. Just thought I'd show you that. Okay, righto, bring you back when there's more to show. Hello, right, so I've had another go at it, and this time I got one plug that had a square head, so I've wound that in and filed the head off, and that is, as far as I can tell, flush with the surface for most of it. It's a shame really, because I thought I was being clever by tapping the hole a bit deep. if the plug had not gone in that far, I could have done a neater job. But you know, hey ho, first time I've done it. Yeah, that'll work okay, won't it? That'll work all right. That'll be okay. Right, good. Okay, I've fitted that stud. That's a French sort of thing. It helps to hang the head on. So I suppose what I'll do now, I will just clean the head face a little bit and put it on. I'll put it on exactly like that. I hope this will be okay. I think that'll be okay. I hope that'll be okay. It does say this side up. I don't know why, but that's what it says. I bought a few of these, but so I think, well, I might as well start using them up. Okay, righto, let's see how it goes then. I think I'm ready to put the head on. Check the bores. Some little bits of fluff in there, but they'll soon get burnt up in the atmosphere. Okay, right. What you don't want is nuts and bolts and washers down there. Okay, right. You don't need to see me put a head on, it's just pretty standard stuff, so I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Hello, right, after a little bit of a session there, I've got that head on. I showed you the plug. I think that's okay, it felt nice and smooth. I shortened these two bolts, those ones, that one and that one. All the others went in okay, and they were simply cleaned on the wire wheel. A very light coating of grease on them and put them in. Had a bit of a disaster. I dropped that jar of that had the oil seals in it, and I've made a mess under there. It spilt some oil, so I've put that kitty litter down to soak it up. And I've jacked the car up and rotated the wheel, and this is the bit where the wheel was sitting in the oil, so I've put something on there to soak that as well. Hopefully that'll all get soaked into the kitty litter and I can sweep that up. It's really annoying, you know. I'm annoyed at myself because I'm you know, working in a mess as usual. You know, and you pick something up over it, nudges something, moves something else and shoves it off the table. Oh well. Need to tidy up. Trouble is, it's took me all my energy to, you know, to get that done, including that fix over there. What I noticed is that on this side the hole is completely outside of the gasket area, so I can use one of those little countersunk plugs on this side. I think on this side you could just leave it open. If you're using a 59A type casting here, so it hasn't got that, it could be left open, but what I'll do, I'll probably plug it both ends. I'll probably plug this one here as well. I'll just plug everything. I bought 10 of those little plugs, so I should be able to do that. Okay, it's beginning to come together, isn't it? Righto. Thanks very much for joining me in the garage then. Once more, a little session. So take care and I'll catch you next time. Bye.